It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Good morning. It is November the 24th. It is Thanksgiving. This is Tech for Senior Live. We are going to be with you for the next hour. If you are just joining us, thank you for coming. We do appreciate that. This is being streamed out from StreamYard to, of course, YouTube and Facebook. We have, if you're watching this as a replay, thank you so much. If you are watching it as a YouTube short, just click the link and it'll take you right to the show. We'll be with you for the next hour. We have a panel here, an international esteemed panel, which I will go over in a minute. We've at great expense, we have brought you this group, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. We're then going to talk about Black Friday deals that we've got. We've all bought things for Black Friday or are going to buy them. And so we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, we'll be going over the news of the week. We have, of course, Bob and Huey are off today. They're with their families enjoying a nice turkey dinner. So we have some new additions to our group. Well, not new additions, but the same group, just remixed a little bit. So we will talk about that shortly. All right. And many of you who maybe are new here. Oh, by the way, if you we're sitting around talking here. We were talking about half an hour before the show, and I looked at my watch and said, oh my gosh, we got to get going here. We could sit and talk by ourselves for another hour and we'd have a great time, but we're sort of hoping someone's listening, right? And so if you are out there listening, if you could put your name in the chat, maybe where you're from, what the weather is or something, or what you bought on Black Friday, or are going to buy on Black Friday, then put that in the chat and we will know if there's anyone out there listening. And if you are listening and sitting around with your family and enjoying this great holiday, then we thank you so much for joining and listening. And so hopefully we'll have some interesting things to talk about today. Don't forget, we do the same group. We have a show on Monday. It's called Tech for Senior. It's actually a Zoom meeting, and we broadcast it out on Zoom too, and we have a YouTube stream for that. So if you're over on our Zoom meeting Zoom meeting today, and you're hoping to find our show, then we'll see you Monday because nobody's there. This is in order to find this. In order to come, it's the easiest thing, because we always get a lot of questions about this. Let me just bring up this. If you come over to, here we go, techforsenior.com, I've put links on our website. Just click that button on the website. It'll take you right to where you need to go to listen to this show. It's streamed over to our Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. And we'll be talking about a lot of articles today on Facebook. And if you want to go to this link, you'll see this is the link that links you to our Facebook page, and we have all our articles that we talk about here. And that's so where we are. So let me, without further ado, let me introduce our guests, our panel today. All right, so the first person I want to introduce is Ray Baxter from Pine, Arizona. Ray, of course, is a very good friend. Ray has been our music director for the show. He, of course, is the president of APCUG. I got it right again, eh? I'm getting pretty
Yes,
good at that. Association of Personal Computer User Groups. Now that's a mouthful, isn't it? He's the president and the treasurer. So not only is he a music guru, a great jazz um, historian, I guess we'll call you. He is he also knows a lot about computers, and he talks all over Canada, the United States about music and music clubs, but is also very knowledgeable in technology. So he's our music director on our Monday show, and also his claim to fame is that he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So there you go. So Ray, what do you? Welcome to the show.
I have nothing to add to that. I can't go any further.
There you go. How's
My
that?
head is still, you can't get it out the door anymore.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Glad to be here. This is working out good. We're going away for Thanksgiving. Well, my kids have other plans this year. Long story, won't get into it. So we may see them on Friday, but we're going to visit friends in a little town west of Phoenix, about a 2.5-hour drive from here, and spend the night and maybe get some Black Friday deals on the way home.
There you go. There you go. Now, the second person I want to introduce is a good friend of ours as well. He's on our staff at Tech for Senior. That would be Bill James. Now, Bill is now I'm going to introduce Bill. Bill, of course, he actually is on the board at APCUG, and he is he's a regular on our show. On our Monday show, and he does, we call him the gadget guy because he loves gadgets. I love gadgets. Bill and I hit it off great when we first met because we love spending money and buying gadgets, right? So we thought, well, we would have him and he does reviews and writes articles in our newsletter about gadgets. Well, the only problem is, I mean, I feel bad about Bill being called a gadget guy because he's not just a gadget guy. He's a very knowledgeable fella. He teaches many different clubs. He teaches local computer club. He's sort of an expert on Windows 10, Windows 11, and a lot of computer related stuff. Bill is a super smart guy. He's a great teacher and has an amazing ability to show us. He does our regular tips on our Monday show. He has this unique ability to make something simple that can be complex. So he does a very good job at it, and we're so lucky to have him on our Monday show, and he can pop in now and then on this show. So we're lucky Bill's here today. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. I feel like right now.
There you go. All right, and so our third the next person I want to introduce, of course, again is a good friend of ours, Mike Ungerman. Mike is how will I introduce Mike? He's a real techie guy. He's got he does a lot of he's doing a regular series on our show. He's done the first part he did one on solar panels and heating your home. And generating electricity from solar panels. I think it was a 5-part series, very popular. Everybody loved it. And now he's doing one on EV cars, and this is extremely popular. But Mike just cost me a bunch of money because I just bought an EV car yesterday on his advice. So
I was going to say it's been infectious.
Bill, my wife forbids me to look at your article. She says I spend too much money. She's really mad at Mike now because she says you stop listening to those guys. And so anyway, so we're so lucky, Mike. Thank you for coming today, and hopefully it'll be a fun. It will be sort of a fun day for us today. I'm just going to go over. We have some people listening. Actually, there's some people out there. You're not going to believe this, but let's see. Let's see who's listening. We have. we have someone we don't.
Yeah, I reported the 3 posts that they put in,
Yeah,
but I
we'll
don't
just
know if
take
that
those
removes
out.
it from the stream or not.
So we got rid of them. So let's see. Text. I have. I may not have much of a voice, but I never received an invitation this
That's
morning.
from Bob.
Oh, really? Bob's away. He's supposed to be with his
No,
family.
he's there listening. There's a couple of messages from him.
Oh, really?
Yep.
He told me he was going to be away. Ed Weiss from Central New Jersey. Now, Ed, is Ed new? Like, thank you for coming, Ed. We'd like to really shout out a big welcome. If you're new, Ed, I'm sorry if you've been on the show before and we haven't commented, but I think that's the first time I've seen you. Thank you for listening and welcome to our Tech for Senior Live. Thank you for being there. Bob Baxter, of course, Bob's regular. Belleville, Washington, 40 degrees, clear and clean after a lot of rain. Bob says, I don't have much of a voice, but I never received a link today in the show. Bob, I gave you some free medical advice last week. Most of you probably don't know I'm a retired physician, and Bob's had this horrible problem with his voice and laryngitis. And I said, Bob, you got to rest it. So just stop talking. So I didn't send him a link on purpose because don't want him talking. He needs to rest his voice. You have some chat that needs to be removed. You see, Bob does all this for me. I don't have to. Yeah. I don't have to really be involved in this. So, Mike says I reported and removed the app. We got rid of that. And Ivana Stewart, hi, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Raining off and on in Argyle, Texas, 56 degrees. Steve Powell, Kirkland, Washington, 35 degrees.
I guess we don't have anybody from the Buffalo area on our chat. Otherwise, we would be saying 6 feet of snow.
Yeah, maybe they don't even have internet. You don't know.
They're out shoveling. That's what they're doing.
And Sally Ann, of course, happy day for foodies. Yes, everyone's having great day. Let's have a look here. Bob says, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. There you go. You type all you want, Bob. Just rest that voice.
We need you Monday.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see you Monday. Let's have a look here. George Bowden, Victoria. Here in Victoria, do what the doctor ordered, Bob. Oh, poor Bob is having such a lot of trouble with his voice. And I said, the problem is when you get laryngitis really bad, it often takes 3 or 4 weeks to get better. It's not going to happen overnight. So you gotta really be quiet. So anyway, that's hard to do when you like to talk, eh? Well, we all like to talk, so.
You think?
Indeed. All right, so there we go. So that's the show today. Let's start out with who should we start out with? Mike, you had some. You bought some stuff for Black Friday. What'd you buy?
I think all I have to do is hit present, right?
Yeah, just hit present, and share your screen.
Share screen. Okay, I am sharing.
There you go.
Okay, so I have 2 desktop computers. One, which I'm sitting here talking on right now. And then about 45 degrees to my right, I have an extended desk. And on that desk, I have a secondary desk computer, if you will, 3/4 tower. And it's my old computer from about 10 years ago. And then I have a very nice 32-inch gaming monitor. And I put Linux on it. And some of you know that I'm involved for quite a bit with Linux, both locally and with APCUG. But in most cases, I'm either presenting or participating from a Windows computer, or I'm using my laptop because I did not have any kind of video cam or webcam on it. I tried a couple from Amazon, and I didn't like their field of view. I didn't like the way the light hit it. And this was as I was just browsing Amazon's Black Friday, this webcam came up. It's a generic Angitube, it says, 962 webcam. And this white area here is a light. And the light manually adjusts to 3 different levels just by pressing the bezel. So you can have low, medium, and light, high. And that's the nice thing, because if I'm using this under Linux, I don't think I'm going to have any kind of control of it. So that appeals to me. Then it also has autofocus, stereo mic, and the base tilts, rotates, tips, whatever. And of course, live streaming, and it's supposed to have auto zoom in it as well. So the original price was $53.97. The Black Friday deal, which I was able to get a couple of days ago, was $43.12, and it's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So we'll see how it works streaming.
That's really cool.
Okay, the second is Bob G and I, about 2, maybe 3 years ago. He might like to type into the chat when he actually got it. He beat me, and I know he did a presentation on the Wise Watch, and it was probably discussed on a Tech for Seniors show. And so at the time, it was on a special that you could get the Wise Watch for something like $23.95 or something along those lines. And I figured, well, why not? You know, it could be a throwaway. However, the face of the watch, which is touch sensitive, on mine started not responding to my fingertips. And I got so I couldn't set the time. I couldn't adjust the alarm. And Bob mentioned that he was having some problems, I think, with the heart rate monitor, getting it to respond to his touch. I contacted Wise. They said, you're out of warranty. They gave me a whole bunch of things, including doing a factory reset. That didn't seem to work. And I said, let's see what the latest one is. So the latest one is called the Wise Watch 47C. You can get it in different colors. And some of the colors change the wrist wrap, if you will. And they even have one that looks kind of nice for a kid or a girl, or, you know, somebody who likes color. Of course, I just went ahead and got black. It looks like it was under so much pressure it's already sold out, but I actually got my order in about 5 days ago, and it was delivered 2 days ago. And I'll come back out of sharing my screen. Let's see here, stop sharing. And I'll show you, I have it on my wrist. I've already swapped out to a magnetic band that I bought with the first one. And the feature that I like, of course, it works, which is great. Has a few more apps, which is also nice. Let's see here. Let's go this way. Okay, so you can see how the apps show.
Yeah.
But notice that I have my 2 great-granddaughters on the screen. Now, I can't, it doesn't really want to zoom in and show you. The time is right at the bottom. Time and date is at the bottom. Cool. And I had for their birthdays, separated by a month, a very nice picture that my granddaughter sent of the 2 girls. And so I just put that on as one of my watch faces. So you can take anything, a travel picture, any picture you like, and basically design your own watch face, which I thought was very nice. It has heart rate, it has blood oxygen, it has timing, countdown timer, it has alarms. It links by Bluetooth to my Android phone. I assume there's an Apple app as well. You can't answer calls on it, but you will get a notice that you have a text or a call. It'll vibrate and tell you that your phone is, if it's in the other room, as my cell phone is now, it would let me know that I have it. So $33.99 plus, I think it was something like $3 or $4 shipping. So less than $40. And that's a lot of features for a watch while I wait for one that's got blood glucose monitoring. So those are my 2 Black Friday gifts.
That's pretty cool. Good job, Mike. Good job. Now, Bill, can you beat that? So have you got anything? What are your plans?
I ended up doing some one unexpected purchase, and I bought that LG TV that you already are highlighting in the
Oh, you did. Oh, good. Okay, because
except mine's the bigger one. But anyway, I got that.
Of course.
And but the thing that was kind of much interesting was the printer I bought.
oh,
I bought OfficeJet 925E. Now, the thing that's really puzzling them, which I posted something in Facebook, is that the price of printers are going up.
mhm.
And so I was kind of surprised that I wasn't able to find a really good deal, because from my understanding, when this printer was introduced, it was probably $220 or $25. Now it's $399.
Wow.
So here's the printer.
Oh, do you want me to share it? I've got it. I've got it. Excuse me. If you want, I can share it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did
I
not
can
share?
share it. I put it up on my screen here if you want.
Oh, okay, hold
no?
on a second.
There it is. Is that the one? 925E?
Yeah, hold on. I lost a
9025E.
yeah, 9025E is the one.
There's the one. This is it. Yeah. Oh, it's good.
Let's see. Now I've lost my let me get here back here. Yeah, that's the one. And it comes with this what they call HP Plus, where you get 6 months of
Right.
ink, and you subscribe to that. So I signed up for that.
Mhm.
There was really very little problems about getting it set up, except that the thing about in both instances, and this is something that I've been really concerned about, is that as seniors, you have to have some savvy with your phone. If you're unable to use your smartphone, you're kind of up between a rock and a hard place getting some of these devices set up. So that's something that you really need to be aware of when you start researching for a purchase. But this replaces my old. I had an HP Office Pro 8. I think it's an 8060. I can't remember, but was the larger printer, because occasionally I do a lot of heavy duty printing for my Mustang Club. I have to print lots of stuff, so I need a rather larger printer. So that's the reason why I bought that. But the thing that really surprised me was the fact that the prices have increased rather than decreased. Because normally, as time passes, um, devices tend to go down in price, but this has not been the case. And I posted an
Well,
article on Facebook, Tech Live, about an article I found that talks about that.
right. And you know what you're seeing, I don't know if you remember, but before the pandemic, we used to have tons of printers that were under $80, and people would often buy a printer just because it came with a cartridge, and they would use the cartridge, buy another printer because it was cheaper than actually buying a cartridge, right? And you'd go to recycling, and in the recycling bin, when I was down there every week dropping off bottles, you would see just hundreds of these printers, in recycling, just sitting down there, because people would just buy. It was such a waste, right? It was just, people would just buy these. You don't see that anymore. There's almost zero printers down there now, because of the chip shortage, those have all dried up. They're not using those anymore. They're not making them. You're right. The prices are quite high, and quite limited as well. So good job. Good job. So I must tell you though, Bill, I went in Costco, was it 3 days ago? I mean, I don't need any more TVs. Like I do not need any more TVs. I have more TVs than Costco, right? But I walked in there and I walked down the aisle, and that LG TV was stunning. It is. Does it look as good as it did in the store at home?
It really does. I was really pleased
Oh
with
my
it.
gosh.
The one I had an Lee Echo, which has an interesting story behind it. This guy was going to purchase Vizio at one point, and that deal fell through, and he upscaled with the money and went back to China. So my old TV was Android, and it got to the point where I could no longer update it, and so I was having trouble with getting Netflix and other things because the operating system in the TV wasn't current. So I really kind of got frustrated because here lately I've been really having even more problems. So I started looking for a television, and a relative of mine had purchased one of these just a few months ago. So I went over and looked at it, and I was really quite impressed. So
It's
I,
stunning. It's
I,
stunning.
so I purchased it, and so far so good. The only thing about it that really is a can be a learning curve is the remote. It has
Oh,
what they call a magic mouse, and you press the button, and then you can actually wave the. It's like a wand,
oh,
and it
really?
points to the icons, and you just press the button
Oh,
to bring up the content.
all right.
But
All
so
right. Well,
far,
that's cool. Now, Ray's sitting there. Ray, tell us if you got anything.
Yes.
Oh,
Um,
good. Oh,
I'd be embarrassed if I said no.
good.
Actually, as most of us have, two desktop. I have two monitors. The smaller one, my 22-inch, the contrast cannot be adjusted anymore. It's older, so it's time to replace it. But I've been looking at monitors, and they're all well over $100. Well, here's a Black Friday deal at Best Buy. They have a 22-inch LG monitor, and my main monitor, the 28-inch one, is an LG, and it's perfect. They have one that's normally $160 on sale for Black Friday, half price, $80. So
wow.
I'm going to pick that up on Friday when I'm down in the Phoenix area. And I'm still looking for I have a new Surface laptop, new to me, and it needs a 45-watt charger, and I want to get a power bank for it. And I have a couple of power banks already, but they're not that hot. So you need to have one that's going to have enough of a wattage to charge it successfully. So I'm still looking to see if I can find one that's reasonably priced and add that to my shopping list for Friday.
All right, very good. So, all right. Well, all right. I'm last. Okay. So, last but not least. What did they say? Anyway.
Yeah.
So I had to tell you about my purchase for Black Friday. So there's one purchase that was the big purchase, but I have another purchase that I have to make, and I'll tell you about that. So the purchase that, of course, that let's have a look here. Where is it? Of course, this is my
Uh,
new purchase, and that's of course, my RAV4 hybrid. Thanks, Mike, for spending all my money. Anyway, that was our purchase yesterday, and this is the 2023 RAV4 hybrid, and that we'll talk all about that. Mike and I have been talking feverishly for the first half hour before the show. I'm not going to bore you with all the stuff we talked about.
Well, then we got to at least do dueling EVs. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just share my screen for 30 seconds.
Okay, all right. Only get 30 seconds, though.
Okay, so 30 seconds.
All right.
Dueling EVs.
All right, you share your screen.
Okay. So there is a Fisker Ocean. And Fisker is a car being assembled, just started this month in Austria. And they're all sold out for 2023, but I'm on the waiting list, just me and 60,000 close associates.
Okay.
and they're actually making a comeback. They used to be in the U.S. market years ago as a sports car.
Yes.
And so now they're coming back with an electric vehicle. Very interesting.
Yes.
So that was my big purchase yesterday, and that is of course coming short. Well, it'll be here in the next 2 or 3 months, we hope, and so on and so forth. But we can talk about that. Then the other thing that happened last night, and my wife came along and said, "Where's the picture here?" This is her cell phone, and she said, she says, my cell phone isn't working very well, and if you actually look at this phone, you'll see that you'll see there's something wrong here, and if you look closely, of course, you can see the swollen battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now the good news is that she helped me make that video about a year ago. I don't know if you remember the video that I played on our Monday show about batteries. She helped me make the video, right? And so she was well aware of the significance of this. And this is a very dangerous situation because that battery is actually swelling up, which means the cells are failing and has the potential of exploding, particularly if you keep charging it. Now, the thing that was interesting about this is the case that she has on this, because most guys have those cases that go around it and you can't see this because there's a lip over here, but because her case opened up, she was really, easy for her to see. And that's why it's so important. If you do have a cell phone, you should take it out of the case once a month, have a look at it and inspect it, because if it's in one of those protective cases around it, you won't see this happening, right? And this can lead to really bad consequences. And so because of that case, and because of course she'd watched Tech for Senior and she'd helped me make the video, she was right on top of that. And she said, I think there's something wrong with this battery. So yes, tomorrow we're off to buy a new cell phone. So will be my purchase tomorrow. Anyway, that was interesting. The other thing, I know Bob's listening, and I know that Bob will want everyone to know this. This is the new tower. Of course, remember we've been talking about Bob's tower that's going up, the new Verizon tower next to his house, and he'll be finally able to get he'll be able to get fast internet. Well, the tower's up, but not only is the tower up, but the power is on, and apparently it is now working. So this is Bob, I'm sure, is happy. He's listening. He's probably extremely happy on this. So he will be in the realm of high tech pretty soon. There you go. Now, before we get on, let me see if we've got any more comments here. Clark Walker, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. 48 degrees Fahrenheit in Trenton, New Jersey. Now, you're not going to believe this. Geeks on Tour, Chris and Jim are from logging in from the British Virgin Islands, from Tortola, BVI. Beautiful. So thank you for listening, Chris and Jim. They're listening to the show. Great.
My wife and I vacationed there for one of our anniversaries, and we were I know Chris and Jim said they were on a ship, and we were on a brigantine at the time. And I think it was a Sunday, and just about everything was closed, but we went by the hardware store and they had a stock of champagne. So we wound up buying some relatively inexpensive champagne and taking it back on the brigantine and celebrating with it.
So, I mean, there you go.
You don't often buy champagne from a hardware store.
No, and it was great.
There you go. So anyway, you read this, Geeks on Tour, go by the hardware store and check out their stock of champagne. We celebrated our anniversary. There you go. And Geeks on Tour, Mike Ungerman, not allowed to bring it back on board. Oh, really?
I guess it's one of those larger ships.
And of course, Kathleen from New York. Why is the name Fisker familiar to me? My knowledge of cars is pre-1965. It is 52 degrees and cloudy in New York. My whole apartment building is almost deserted, just the two of us. Well, Kathleen, the reason that you know Fiskers, and I had the same thoughts. I thought Fiskers makes yard equipment, and if you go to Home Depot, Fiskers is those little clippers that you use when you're pruning shears, right? Right? Is that right? The same company?
I believe they make a number of electrical shear type items as well.
So Kathleen, they
also made a little sports car years ago as well.
Is that right? There's a new Fisker sport car theoretically in the let's see, what are they calling it? The Ronin, yes, and that may be coming out in 2025. No idea whether they'll make it or not.
All right, we have got to get busy now and do some work. So just hold on a sec. Let me get now. Just for those, let me just come over here. For those of you who want to watch, if you go over to our Facebook page, you can follow the articles along here, on our Facebook page, and that is that's the link there. All right. let's go back up. I think we've got all the articles in a row here. That looks good. So the first article is by our absent Bob. I guess he's sort of giving us the practical tip here. 5 tips to prevent your kitchen sink from getting clogged today. So if you're putting all that turkey grease down the sink, you may want to look at this. Thanksgiving drain tips by TLC Plumbing. So there you go. You might want to look at that before you do the dishes. Bill, you are talking about, again, hikes prices on printers. Oh, okay. HP hikes printers. But I must tell you, Bill, I do the same thing. I have the Instant Ink program, and I've been writing articles about it. And I am now in my 7th month, and this is the first time I get charged, because the first 6 months was free or included in the package. So I had the first 6 months for free, and they gave me a bonus and said for the first 3 months I could print as much as I want. You could go to town, and they did keep sending you so far I've been really happy with the service, and I think you're of the same mind, Dave.
Yes. It's going to be a big savings, I think. And
Yeah.
they mentioned that in this article. That's going to be kind of the saving grace for, that's really making the stockholders of HP happy. But they talk about, there is an issue with the global supply chain, the reason why all these printers are going up in price. And of course, the cartridges themselves, they have a microchip in them as well that prevents where the printer can recognize whether it's a genuine HP cartridge or not.
Right.
So, but that's what's calling the increase in price. So it's really kind of an interesting article, so I thought I'd share that.
Okay.
I was really curious.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was really curious about, why printers and ink and everything. Well, ink has always been expensive, but why printers were actually going up in price.
Excellent. The next article was one I posted. This was, and the article is basically, I'm not going to go into the article, but basically the best Black Friday deals on smartwatches and fitness trackers. If you are looking for a smartwatch or fitness tracker, you may want to look at this article and go through it. I did want a couple of things that you should know, and this is sort of a generality, is of course, if you have an Apple Watch, if you have an iPhone, then of course what you'd want to get is an Apple Watch. If you have you have to be careful if you have if you're thinking of buying the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 or the new 5, you really want to make sure you have a Samsung phone. That watch pairs with a Samsung phone. If you try to use that watch on a non-Samsung phone, some of the features, the health features, won't work. So you really need to pair that watch. The other one is that a caution, at least in Canada, Costco has the Fitbit Sense on on sale. But the Fitbit Sense is an old version. The Fitbit Sense 2 now has been out for, I don't know, 6 months. Just be careful of that. The Fitbit Sense is on sale a lot, but the Fitbit Sense 2 is the current model, and it also is on sale for practically the same price. So just be careful on that. Other than that, Mike's had some good suggestion on watch. There's lots of choice out there. Have a look. This is a good article for you. I put this on here just so that I could talk about televisions, and of course Bill beat me to it as usual and bought one. And well done, Bill. I mean,
well, they also have this model in a 40-inch, which makes a really super computer monitor.
Yeah,
and it's really I think it's about $800 there. It's a special on Black Friday, so that might be something. If anybody wants a really large monitor, that would be a good choice.
Well, I would encourage you, if you think you have too many TVs and you're really not interested, you have to go down and have a look at this, because once you see it, you'll realize it's nothing like you've ever seen before, right, Bill?
Yes,
it is truly.
Is it 4K? Is that the difference?
It's It's 4K, yes.
Okay.
It's 4K, Bill or Ray, but the colors are so stunning. Like
Well, that's what 4K does.
yeah, it does, but
And high dynamic resolution or HDR.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's got all the bells and whistles, but it looks really good. It looks really good. Oh, the other thing is, if you're looking for presents for your kids, and maybe for either for Thanksgiving or even for Christmas, I just wanted to let everybody know about the Amazon Fire tablets, and they have Fire tablets for kids, and these are actually in very popular demand. I went and looked on Amazon USA today, and they're all sold out. But you might find them in Best Buy. These are tablets designed for kids. They make great gifts for grandchildren. They're totally uh, they're totally safe for internet use with children, and they also, as I said, they're great for kids. The problem is finding them because they're in such big demand. But what I would used to do, because we used to give some of not for the kids, but you can also buy these. And we used to do these and give them away for our computer club for door prizes, because they would often be on sale on Black Friday for $30-40. But you could only ever get them on Amazon, minimum two. You could only buy two. So we'd have members of our club going around to the different Best Buy stores and picking them up if they could find them for $30. But these are great gift items for grandchildren
And great grandchildren.
and great grandchildren. Yes, I guess so. My gosh, we're Mike. Don't say it. I'm even getting pretty old.
Well, what amazes me is how smart these kids are these days.
Oh yeah,
growing up.
yeah.
Our oldest is 3, and she's been playing with an old phone that's not activated, just has little apps on it, and she's been playing with that since she was 2 anyway, and she's extremely dexterous with it, and she's learned her alphabet, and she can read some words, and it's just amazing how quick they pick it up.
I have an interesting story to tell you that's short. One of our members at the club the other day was relating about her granddaughter, and she had called her using the Google home machine, and so they were all thrilled about that. And then she announced, she says, "Oh, and my Barbie's coming tomorrow." Because she had also ordered a Barbie on using the Google, and her parents were kind of excited about that. They went in and canceled the order, but that's something you have to kind of remember, that you have to put a passcode on that so that the kids can't order stuff on without your permission.
That's right. I think I told you about my grandson. This was about 2 years ago. We have on all our Miss A devices, we have an Alexa, we have a Costco shopping list, right? And he heard us putting like I'd say put cheddar cheese on Costco list, and his mom and all the people would just say there you go, and it just goes on the list. So I get to Costco and I'm looking at the list and it says toys. And I thought, toys? Who put toys on here? And it said toys. And I started to laugh, and I thought, that must be that little guy, And so I did buy him a toy and bring it home. It was pretty funny, but he put toys on the list. They figure out it really well. Okay, this article is a very interesting. This is a very interesting topic, one in which I think I'm going to make actually a video about. And we're going to talk about on our Monday show. This was a sting operation done in Canada. It was done in Ontario, and what they did is they took computers in to 12 different commercial repair shops for computers, and they actually put tracking devices on there so they could find out what private data had been accessed. And they found out that 50% of the computers that went in for servicing had the data, personal data accessed, and they could see what people were looking at, and the people, the technicians or whoever was working on it, they were looking not only at your Word documents and all that, but they were looking for images and your photo directories, and they were looking, of course, for obviously compromising pictures. And not only did they look, but in a number of cases, I'm not going to go into the whole article, they were actually copied. They could see that the technicians actually were copying the photo directories and music directories off these computers into off the computers, right? And not only that, but the other thing is, none of these companies had any sort of policies or stated policies on privacy when you take your computer in and what they can and can't do. So that brought up a whole thorny issue, which I never really thought about. And the article is thinking about taking your computer into the repair shop. You may want to be very afraid. Oh, and the other thing is when they looked at the people that took them in, you were 50% more likely to have your photo directory copied if you were female. All right, which makes sense, right? So that's really scary, if you have to take your computer in and get it fixed. I mean, this is a big issue, right? So I thought that's you can read about this, but I think this merits further talking and getting Bob involved and maybe looking at what you can do to protect yourself. Now, did I not, or is my memory failing, or I thought we talked about this maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I think Samsung has brought in some sort of pass system that when you take your phone in to be fixed, you can set it into a secure mode and nobody can look at your personal data. Is that not correct?
Yes, I think you did do that. Yes.
I think we talked about that.
Recall that.
I could be wrong on that, but I think that is happening. Ray, reinventing the steering wheel.
Well, this is an interesting concept here. I don't know if it'll catch on. This is in Europe only at this point in time. It's the Ford and Torino Custom, and it's an electric minivan. You folks have been talking about electric vehicles today. It's going to be, as I said, just in Europe. Here's the unique feature. It has a steering wheel that folds into a table, and you might, for the driver to use when parked. And you might say, well, how could I use that? Well, think about it. Have you ever gone to a fast food restaurant and you're eating in the car and you have the food all over the place? Well, let's say you're in business and you've come out of a meeting and you want to type up the results of that meeting on your laptop. Instead of keeping it in your lap, you actually now have a table. So the steering wheel folds into a table right in front of the driver.
So Ray, I was watching a video the other day, and it's going to be one of my featured websites or featured channels called Matt's RV Reviews. And he was in Europe and in Germany doing a review, and they did, and it was a Mercedes van that was a camperized van, and it did this exactly that. The steering wheel came off and went into a table. It was interesting. Yeah.
If you look at some of the new EVs, and it may also be gas powered, but mostly EVs, there's so much that is computer controlled on them. And Ron knows just from some of the computer stuff that's coming in his new car, that the steering now in some of them is fly by wire. That means that there is no shaft physically connecting your steering wheel to your front wheels. It's picked up by transducers as you turn the wheel. That goes to a computer. Computer drives two small electric motors, and they turn your front wheels. And some of them actually have yokes. So if you had to do a hard left turn, for example, most of us would take, turn and turn, and get, several turns of the wheel in order to make it turn. On a yoke that is fly-by-wire, all you would do is slowly turn the yoke, and it's full depression, maybe about 60 degrees of turn. Your front wheels will have already turned the full length, and it'll be coupled with a speed sensor, so that wouldn't happen to you at high speed. At high speed, you'd have much less response in the front wheels. So that's coming. And some of the people who have actually driven them have said it's very hard to get used to it, and they're not sure if the general public would accept it. But it's an interesting concept.
Well, Mike, was it Rivian? I can't remember the company that actually you had your steering wheel, but there were no gauges. The gauges was an app on your phone that linked in. So whoever was using the car would link the app in, and all the gauges were on the app on the phone. Was that not Rivian, or I can't remember?
I know Tesla has got on one of their models, everything is just on the big screen and there's no gauges in front.
No, but this was actually off your phone. In other words, there were no displays in the actual car. It worked on an app on your phone, and you just put the phone in front of you and route, and I
but that doesn't seem very efficient. You on any car, you have an infotainment system. You have a large screen. Who's going to want to go back to one the size of a cell phone?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a while ago. This was 3 or 4 years ago, and I thought, interesting.
There's lots of new tech coming anyway.
Yeah. So Ray, colossal failure, Amazon. Oh yeah, I remember this. I saw this article. Yeah. This is interesting.
Amazon is laying off about 10,000 jobs.
Yeah.
And most of them are going to come from the voice assistant.
That's right.
Believe it or not, that division lost, ready for this number, $3 billion in just the first quarter of 2022. Now, the article goes on to say that the Echo devices are pretty much sold at cost, and where Amazon expected to make a lot of profit was from advertising, and they have not. And so they're really cutting way back. I have the Amazon Tab, which I bought early on. They don't make them anymore. That was the best device because it's portable. So as long as I'm within Wi-Fi range, I can carry it around with me without being confined to where it's plugged in. I'm sorry they stopped making them.
Yeah, you're right. And the other thing about this was that they where they've really dropped the ball is actually providing services. Like they have all these devices out there, which they sold at below cost. And, these all sort of will remind you to take out the garbage and do that sort of thing. But what their plan was to actually have them integrated into some sort of paying service where they would make the money. And that just hasn't happened, right?
Right. Exactly.
I was shocked. I read that article. Actually, I posted it. It's a little bit later here. And it's the same thing. I thought, you got to be kidding. I thought they were just cleaning up, but they're actually losing money.
Exactly. That's what surprised me as well.
Huh. Isn't that crazy, eh? All right. And AMD surpassed the Intel market? You got to be kidding.
In market capitalization for the first time ever. Now, as long as I've been watching, following computers and processors, AMD has kind of been the stepchild. Intel has always been the high end. And if you're looking for a discounted computer, you bought one with an AMD processor. But some years back, AMD got smart, and they've separated the manufacturing of processors from the actual business. So they have an outside company do all their manufacturing for them. So you won't see AMD building big plants in Arizona and New Mexico and Ohio. They have other plants, and that's allowed them to make a lot more money. And as I said, and this article points out that for the first time, they're a larger company by market capitalization statistics. Amazing.
All right. Very interesting. I want to come back to our comments here. We've got a few here to deal with, to talk about. Ed Weiss says, have you looked at the Rivian EV lately? Mike, have you looked at? I haven't looked at the.
I did respond to him a couple down, and I just basically said yes, I did. And to get an equivalent vehicle to the Ocean, I'd have to pay 30 to 40,000 more.
Really?
So the Rivian is a step up in terms of equipment and luxury and so on.
Right, but Mike, do they have? Are they being produced and you see them around like they're actually a production vehicle? Eh?
And we only have the two vehicles. They have a truck and an SUV.
Right.
Okay.
And you can buy directly from the manufacturer.
Right. Kathleen says the instant ink colors were so terrible that I may buy the non-instant ink. I don't know. I know that you said that before, Kathleen. I haven't found that. I mean, the instant ink cartridges are HP ink. I'm not sure why that would be different. Bill, do you have any comments on that?
No,
What
I
you're,
don't. It's the same ink. It's just being
yeah,
sent to you directly from the manufacturer rather than going to the big box store.
yeah. I don't know that. I think they were going to send her. I think they're going to send Kathleen some replacement ones and see if they could get a better color. Ed Weiss, yes, but about $35,000 more. Yeah, eeks. Irving says, hi from Ottawa. Ron, read your article about dialing with Google Voice. I tried setting it up and received a response not available in your country. Can you comment? Some of the services are, particularly with Google Voice, are not available, and you can't do it because of CRTC rules. And it just depends on what specifically that you were trying to do. Google Voice will work in Canada, and I guess my Google Voice is set up. The problem is my Google Voice is set up when I was in Mesa, Arizona. So it's still set up, I guess, through the U.S. side of that. So that's sort of why. And I still have an Arizona number for that number. So I'm not sure. There may be some. I can't. Sorry, I can't answer that.
There is a list, though. You can go and look, and it tells you what countries Google Voice is available to.
Right.
So you just have to go to the Google website.
Go and have a look at that. Good.
Yeah.
But it's important to note that it's different in different countries. Kathleen Steed, is there a link to the HP article?
The one that Bill James put on Facebook.
Can you put the link in the chat, Bill?
Sure.
Okay. That would be good. Coming up, Kathleen. Kathleen says, does this include the Geek Squads at Best Buy as one of the repair who access or download the private? I don't know. That's a very good question. I'm not sure. I'm going to discuss this article on our Monday show. I don't know that they actually listed the names of the it does not appear in the article that the actual names of the stores were listed. So I can't answer that, but I would assume that if I was doing this study, I would do Best Buy, and I would also do Staples, and do some of the common ones. So I would think they probably include that, but I can't tell you that for sure. And it's certainly would happen. Jim from Geeks on Tour has nothing to do with Best Buy or the Geek Squad. Geeks on Tour has nothing to. Oh, yes, exactly.
Good
exactly.
disclaimer.
Geeks on Tour is, of course, Jim and Chris Gould, the very famous traveling couple that have my favorite button show on Monday, and that very famous website, Sunday, very famous website, Geeks on Tour, and has nothing to do with the Geek Squad. That is absolutely correct. Kathleen Steed, I attached 2 photos of the difference. I don't think we can see those. We can't see the attachments on the chat. But Kathleen, if you email them to me, I'll put them up. We can talk about that on Monday, on the Monday show, and we'll maybe have a look at the 2 and compare them. So just admin@techforsenior.com, then we'll have a look at those. Oh my gosh, do you know what? Time's up. Time's up.
Time flies when you're having a good time.
We haven't even looked at half my articles. Oh my gosh, we had some good stuff here. All right. Well, gee whiz. I want to thank you for coming. I know that it's a holiday season. Mike, did you just want to mention you're going out to the Golden Corral, and you had a really great idea? I didn't know this. Maybe people who are going out wouldn't know this. Do you want to mention that?
Just when we don't have family nearby, we go to the Golden Corral buffet and pick what we want to eat for Thanksgiving or whatever holiday it is. But when you go through the line, you can buy a takeout plate. and that's going to be our leftovers. So we're going to get extra turkey and gravy and stuffing and things like that. And when you're done eating, you just go past the checkout counter, they weigh it, you pay by the pound, and we'll have leftovers for turkey sandwiches and so on the next day.
That's great. Good idea. If you are with your family today, thank you and have a great dinner. Enjoy the family season. We will be here next week. Next Thursday we'll be back again. Hopefully Bob's voice will be up by then, and he'll have the new tower going. He'll be fired up and ready to go. Huey's having turkey dinner with his brother, which is great. And that's good. And that's a great time. And he'll be back, of course, and on our Monday show. So don't forget, on Monday we will have a great show for you. Please come and listen. Chris and Jim Gould, don't get sunburned. Make sure you keep your sunscreen on. Have a great day. And the rest of you, please enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have a great time with your family. Stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. All right. Bye now.
So long.
Bye-bye.